Welcome to Dare, the show for innovators, entrepreneurs, and startup leaders who dare to shape the future. Your hosts today are Ned Hayes and Cecilia Mariani. Dare is brought to you by Darwaf, the superpower tech team that can make your vision a reality. The Dare podcast is excited to welcome Aditya Nagrath to the podcast today. He's a real visionary leader, especially focused on how people learn mathematics and how to improve that. He has a brand new book out called Treating Mathematics Anxiety. It's his second book, and he really has done amazing work in this field with his company, Elephant Learning, where he's led teams to be able to develop a number of applications that really help people with learning. He's a great learner himself. He has a PhD in mathematics and computer science, and we're really happy to have him on the show today. Welcome.
Hi, Ned. Thank you for having me here today. I'm glad I could be here.
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations on your new book. Can you tell us more about that book?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So Treating Mathematics Anxiety, it basically takes what we do in our coaching program over at Elephant Learning, and it makes it available to the parent in book format. So we give you background on how mathematics anxiety forms, like what's causing it, and then what you can do to combat it. And we even give you tactics that you could be using when the student is exhibiting it, meaning when you're getting tears at math time, here are some strategies that you could be using that could maybe help further things along.
Yeah, well, I'll just jump right into it. What causes math anxiety?
Well, okay, so what we talk about in the book is this AI model. When they designed the AI models that they're using now, they designed it after the human brain. And what it kind of works out to be is you have a set of inputs, you have a set of outputs, you have a function, and then you have a training function that keeps altering the function so that the inputs map to the correct outputs. And what you're hoping is that the continuity of the function itself makes similar inputs give you similar outputs. So for example, a nice application that you can write for your iPhone now is off the camera, can you identify, is this an oven? Is this a microwave? All of the household things. I think they were doing that in 2018. And for the human being, what it boils down to is our experiences and then the meaning that we're adding to those experiences, at least as one of the systems, like the input system for the human being. And so for the student, what they're grappling with when they're talking about math anxiety, mathematics, or basketball, or any endeavor that they are setting out to do, the meaning boils down to, I can do this or I can't do this. And if whatever they're trending towards, that's kind of where they go, right? Like, okay, well, I can't do this because I'm stupid. Or they're going to start finding reasons. They're going to start justifying it. And what we need to do as coaches is to keep them on the positive side of it. Because one of the analogies we use in the book is the basketball analogy. So if it's basketball, right, maybe you could find another sport, right? Maybe we could coach you on soccer. But with math, with reading and writing, that's it. That's the game. If you're not doing that, you're not a functional human being. So the only thing we can do then is to keep saying, no, you can do this, right? Believe in them, say out loud to them that they can do it. But that's the cause and kind of the natural, what you can do about it.
Right. So it sounds like that internal self-talk, it really makes a difference for how people approach any task, not just mathematics. Is that fair?
Yeah, exactly. And this is kind of the same idea as what people are calling growth mindset, right? I believe that I can change my abilities. Yeah. If you've got a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset where you don't believe your abilities can change, I don't believe my abilities can change. Why am I trying to change them?
Right.
But that's math anxiety. That's what it is.
Yeah. So if you have a fixed mindset, you think that you only have a certain number of capabilities and you're not capable of expanding those or really growing beyond that kind of fixed set, right?
If that were true, then babies would never speak.
Right. What's fascinating to me is I was reading an article recently about the fact that we assume that once you hit kind of your peak in your 40s or 50s, that learning stops. And the article pointed out they analyzed people's brains and people keep learning all the way through their lives. It doesn't come to a halt. It's not like you have a peak and you degrade. Between 40 and 60, an immense amount of learning keeps happening. So we aren't just learning how to talk. We're continuing to learn new skills and new ways of being, right?
The question is are you trying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, if you're trying, then yeah, you're doing it for sure, right? If you're sitting there saying, no, that's it, I hit it, I'm peaked, I'm done,
Hmm.
then yeah, I mean, you could at least switch to the Discovery Channel. I don't know.
Right. But back to your book for a minute. You feel like you've been able to distill down the pedagogical tools that you've used in your system and give it to parents, right?
Well, so the system is a separate idea because like the two things that you need to do to combat the math anxiety is one, believe in the student, say out loud that you believe in them so that you're committing to them that you believe in them.
Hmm.
But the second thing is you have to meet them at their level of understanding. So then going back to this basketball analogy, it's like a hoop that goes up and down, right? So if the kid can't throw it up to 10 feet, then yeah, you're gonna have to do the 5 foot hoop or whatever's
Right.
out there. I don't really know. And and so, but that's the key, right? Like if they don't believe they can put the ball in the hoop, and then you go out there and say, "No, I believe you can do it," and then like they're not even close. Yeah, they don't believe you when you say that you believe they can do it any longer. So both things are necessary. So what elephant learning does is we identify how high is the hoop. We do that by giving them a placement exam and start, moving it up a foot at a time. Maybe this is a good analogy. And then once we found their level, it's like, okay, good. So now we'll kind of inch it up as it goes in. And then if you combine that with the coaching program that we're offering, our coaches will do a lot of the things that the book is saying here for you, right? They'll help you do it because, I mean, if you're triggered through your math anxiety, then yeah, you might need someone outside of that environment to say, hey, look, like maybe let's look at this from a different angle. But you could also read the book and it's going to give you basically what is the training program for our mathematics coaches.
Right. So I'll ask kind of a sideways question. What if you have parents who have their own math anxiety and feel like they've passed that on to their kids? How can you get past your own fear and help your child be more successful than you felt at that age?
Great. Yeah. So like the exercises in the book help with that, but basically it boils down to, can you identify the meanings that you've added to your experiences around mathematics? And then can you identify experiences that you've had where you've overcome challenges, right? So then this technique is called Gestalt, though it doesn't really have much to do with the actual definition of Gestalt. It's something I got from business groups. So like when you're sharing business stories, you share the story. You don't share advice because then everyone can learn from the story. It looks like a case study in business world. But anyway, for this, right? Like you tell the story of how you've overcome some challenges so you believe they can do it. But as you're identifying these stories, you are also then deconstructing the meaning that you've added to the mathematics.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you're able to change your own story as you're helping your child, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what's fascinating to me is that you make a number of claims about your system, which I totally believe. I'm not challenging those claims, but what's fascinating is you say that you're able to really get people to learn a huge amount of mathematics in a short time period in just 10 minutes a day, right? So
That's right.
that's a big change. Like I remember suffering through math classes that seemed to go on, from my perspective, for weeks. It was only an hour-long class. But like that 10 minutes a day is super appealing. Can you tell us more about how you managed to get that amount of learning in that amount of time?
Yeah. Yeah. So what it boils down to is, first of all, we only focus on the essential topics, and then we only focus on teaching it as a language. I believe this is the most important piece. So like when we went through math courses, it seems like the strategy was like, let's just make them do this over and over and over again until they finally get it. Which it's an okay strategy, but you lose a lot of students along the way because maybe they never get it. And then the question is do we hold them back? Which,
Well, maybe it's not that
yeah.
pleasant to do it that way.
Well, so like the nice thing is that there's a lot of early age education research on teaching mathematics in this manner. They call it conceptual mathematics. But really, that idea boils down to, can I teach it as a language? And when I'm explaining this to parents, I boil it down to teaching the color red. So when you're teaching red to a student, you can't look it up in the dictionary. There's no instruction that you can give to a student that helps them understand what red is. They can only experience red. They can see red, red truck, red ball, infer from the language that red refers to the color.
Okay.
The same thing happens for mathematics, starting with the quantities, right? They have to first understand that 2, 3, now you're referring to the quantity. How many are there? And then from there, the operations tend to be sort of naturally added on. So meaning like, give me 5 things, give me 4 more things. How many things do I have now?
Mhm.
And then relating that to the idea of the written mathematics, 5 + 4 = 9. So like, that's what our system focuses on. And we only focus on the essential topics, which means we don't cover things like the clock or measurements. I don't want to get into it, right? Like, if you can understand fractions, decimals, and percentages, you can do measurements in any system you want. It's going to work. But if you don't understand fractions, decimals, and percentages, and you try to do measurements, yeah, it's going to be extremely hard.
Yeah. Right. So having that base knowledge is super important.
That's right. So what then I end up accomplishing is that the student who's gone through our system and then shows an age higher than what their actual age is will be able to walk into the classroom and participate and understand the teacher. And that then changes their perspective on mathematics. They start to actually like math class. They might dislike elephant learning when they're done, but I consider it a win if they like math class.
Got it. Okay, that's really fascinating. So your book is out there to help parents and families and kids. And you actually come to this with vast experience with your own company, Elephant Learning, right?
Yeah. So Elephant Learning, the product, is the Math Academy, is what I've been talking about, is help students learn on average a year and a half of math over the course of 10 weeks when they use it just 30 minutes per week. But yeah, I mean, we've helped almost over 165,000 students now.
Right. That's amazing. Well, I know there are a number of programs that help people both online and in person. Like I think of Khan Academy, especially. My kids have really benefited from that. How would you compare your system to other systems that are out there?
Right. So like Khan Academy with the videos and stuff, right? Like you don't get the experience that you need. I think the best way to describe our system with something else that's already out there is we're pretty close to what Montessori has been doing, but we kind of go through everything and we only focus on what we consider to be essential. Again, it was the mathematicians it was me and another mathematician that basically decided, like, here's the things that we should focus on. And that's actually what we end up doing in graduate level mathematics, is like, what are the precise ideas that we need to communicate to you to get to this result?
Got it. Fantastic. Okay. And then I'm curious, you actually did all of this academic training in mathematics. And so I assume mathematics was something that came pretty naturally to you. Is that fair?
Well, no. So, and I discuss a little bit of this in the book as well. There was some math anxiety. I mean, I think everyone has to deal with this story around mathematics, right? Because like when you do some of this like growth type of work or empowerment type of work, what you end up finding out is human beings have stories about themselves and their mom and their dad and men, women, money. Everyone's got a relationship with mathematics, is what I like to say, just in the same way everyone's got a relationship with those human beings. And so I'd say, like, even through the PhD program, there was some sort of anxiety because it's like you're doing it, but maybe it's like the fight side of the fear that's being activated. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to figure it out. But the nice thing about the program and the endeavor on what you're doing is it's a search for truth. And so like there's a core value of truth that's underneath it all. And so, I enjoyed it. And I think the skills that I've gained are so valuable outside of the math world, in the business world, in the marketing world, in all these other endeavors that I have to now undertake as a business owner, that is challenging to even pinpoint all the areas where the training has helped.
Right. So that's great to hear that you actually had to go through a process of learning yourself, that this didn't come just like swimming. Because I know that some people out there believe that mathematical knowledge is innate and it really is that fixed mindset that we were talking about previously. But it's great to hear that like you had to go through a learning process and that now you have a PhD in mathematics.
Yeah. So like the challenge is that there's this sense of this idea of innateness. I like to tell this story where there was this person from the UK who called in. Well, I actually reached out to her. She left a comment on our Facebook page on the 4th of July. I was just like, it's not the 4th of July in UK. And it was a really interesting thing because she was threatening to report us to some sort of agency. So like I knew this person was triggered because I was like, I'm just teaching math. We have freedom of speech here in the United States. I don't imagine it's different in the UK.
Yeah.
And like, there's no way that like there's a problem here, right? But I got on the phone with her and we started looking at the problem. And the problem was like in our algebra curriculum where the game switches. And in algebra, you start to identify true or false statements. So here's a statement. Is it true or false? And this particular one, the left-hand side evaluated to 11. It had a does not equal sign. So the equal sign with a line through it. And the right side evaluated to 12. And so I said to her, like, she says, I don't know what this symbol is, this like thing with the line through it. And I'm like, that's does not equal. She's like, does not equal. I don't know what that is. I'm like, watch this. 11 does not equal 12. And she's right. 11 does not equal 12.
Yeah.
So like the thing is that the does not equal sign is a symbol on a piece of paper. And if she's never seen the definition for it, how is she supposed to know what it means? Right? Like there's nothing innate about that. It's not like I was born with the ability to read hieroglyphs in a cave. So like, I don't understand where this idea necessarily comes from, but I know that it's a result of the mathematics anxiety, because if this is something that's innate and I don't have it, then I don't need to do it.
Interesting. Yeah. That's really fascinating to hear that people have so much anxiety that they don't understand a symbol, so they get really upset about it.
I think that almost all human anxiety, not all, but like a lot of human anxiety is around, I don't know what this means. And like, if you think about the first thing that we said, which is that the input system looks like this, if you don't have the meaning to add to the event, then anxiety is probably natural.
Got it. Yeah. If you don't have the full context. Yeah. Well, I need to ask you this question. It's kind of an obvious question, but in the age of AI, does learning change? Like when we have, all these systems out there helping us and maybe confusing us, how does learning change?
Yeah, I think that what I do becomes more important, because if the game becomes, can I identify truth from the potential nonsense that might be fed to me by AI, then I'm the only person who can do that. You know what I mean? I think that like there's this idea that we can outsource thinking somehow. And to some degree, yeah, you have to be able to do it, right? You have to be able to have a team and have the team go out and execute on things. Teams have been performing better than individuals for thousands of years. But at the same time, right? Like if something is just logically false and it's being fed to me, then I'm the only, like, if I'm the decision maker, I'm the only one who can do anything about that. You know what I mean? And we don't want to send, as leaders, we don't want to send our teams on errands that are going to be foolhardy. Like if you just get to the end and it's not going to work, then yeah, why do it? So I think in the age of AI, where identifying is what the computer telling me true or not, how do I go identify it? Having these capabilities becomes more valuable.
Fantastic. Well, so the value of human learning still matters. We can't just outsource that to an AI. That's what you're saying.
A good catchphrase is this: you're either programming the AI or you're being controlled by it.
Got it. So you want to give people the power to continue to program the AIs. Yeah.
You want to be able to, look at it, use it, identify this thing that it's telling me is probably not accurate. How do I fix it? That's, at least at current state, that's where we're at.
Right. Got it. Well, so just to wrap up, I'll ask you our classic closing question. What future do you dare to dream? What do you think? What world are you creating?
Yeah, so since the beginning, our mission's been to empower children with mathematics. We started in 2016 with this. And the idea is that if we can empower children with mathematics, if we had more people who understood mathematics, which is the language of science, then you would have business people and politicians that speak the same language as the scientists and engineers, and would be able to accomplish more as a society in that environment, right? Because if you have a more educated society, there aren't problems that we wouldn't be able to solve. It's possible that our people would be making better decisions, more informed decisions, or at least more logically true decisions.
Got it. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate the conversation, and best of luck with your new book.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Take care.
I appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks to our guest today for their great insights on DARE, the podcast for innovators, entrepreneurs, and startup leaders. If you'd like your story to be featured on Dare, just contact us at info@darwaft.com. Dare is brought to you by Darwaft, the tech team that can make your vision a reality.